you're standing right in front of me. You were always on the other side. Now I'm searching for the air to breathe. You were always in the back of my mind. Always knew you were the enemy.
Doesn't the cactus flower need time to bloom? I think I found you in a cartoon with a crooked hat and face like a moon. You share your flowers with all around. I look at you because you sing found. Close your eyes, hear that sound. There's a pile of sweaters filled with holes and empty cabinets filled with clothes. The world's pretty, but the sky's too loud. Can't read signs and my brain's a cloud. I'm holding paper flowers, unlighting melted candles, and sipping day-old coffee from mugs that don't belong to me.
Run it up, not much time, gotta press my luck. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Living my life, gonna call your bluff. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Not much time, gotta press my luck. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Living my life, gonna call your bluff. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Not much time, gotta press my luck. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Living my life, gonna call your bluff. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Not much time, gotta press my luck. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Living my life, gonna call your bluff. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Not much time, gotta press my luck. Run it up, run it up, run it up. I'm serious for you. Run it up, run it up, run it up. You will always dream that that's my mind. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Always living my life.
Flying high, gliding by, resting on the cloud, whispering through the sky. I made this shit for you and I'm living by that do or die. Do you wanna ride in a caddy and chop it up? I got the sauce, just need the bread so I can sop it up. Say it ain't easy just to pock it up, cause we ain't pock enough, nah. Fly your way on my Zephyr to a whole new sector with a whole new spectrum where the words get collected in
I would like to be traded to any other teams but the New England Patriots.
Big brain predictions. That's all I got.
Take it off, sir.
The Washington football team beat the Steelers.
Right.
And that person.
EDP.
Yes, but if you lose this game, I firmly believe we do not need to make playoffs. So
don't you ever disrespect me.
Welcome
back, folks. Welcome back to After Further Review. This is episode number 63. I am your co-host, Aaron Brown.
I'm your other wonderful co-host, Shaquille Brown.
And I'm everybody's favorite ball guy, Malin.
Malin, how was your week?
My week is a lot better because for the first time in this NFL season, my Seahawks have won back-to-back games.
Very nice, very nice. Must be nice, Jack.
It's been a long season, fellas.
Yeah. Shaq, how was your week?
It was good. My birthday was earlier this week.
Oh, everybody, let's all wish Shaq a very happy birthday. Cheers, my guy.
Feel it.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
How old are you now?
I am the ripe young age of 28 right now in my life.
Ripe.
My sister is like, does a cold bother your joints, or is that another couple months from now? I was like, all right, I don't need this in my life.
Like it's not cold enough yet, so I don't know.
Not yet. Wait till January.
I think your hairline and my hairline are looking about the same when I was 28. So.
Don't tell me that.
It only goes downhill from here, brother.
That I don't need. I need whatever remedy LeBron got going on.
That's called millions of dollars.
Not just because it is Shaq's birthday, but we always take our introductory shot here. Cheers to you all. Cheers.
How was that rum?
Oh, it's really good.
Different.
I mean, different from the pace we used to be going at.
Right. This is the first time I've had rum in a long time. At least a month.
I'd say it's usually like Johnny Walker or some sort of...
Right, there's some whiskey or bourbon or something, but... I'm always a fan of having tequila on the show, but Shaq is not, and I respect that, so...
I mean, we can always switch it up and do tequila every once in a while. Tequila just erases my memory.
That's also because Shaq has to drive home and Jalen just gets to
walk 10
Go to
minutes.
sleep.
Thank you, G Money, also for the happy birthday. Much appreciated.
Shout out to G Money. Hey, shout out G Money in the chat every week, holding it down.
True OG fan.
Gotta love it. Speaking of holding down the chat, if you are not aware, we stream the show live every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So you can join G Money in the chat and go back and forth with us, him, anybody else that comes through this excellent chat that we have every Wednesday night. You can watch the show by just clicking the first link in your podcast description. It'll take you right to our most recent episode, the one that you were just listening to, actually. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, because there's not just this show. There's an array of other shows on this network. So check it out, Malheim's Media. You can search it on YouTube. Or, like I just said, you can click the big link down in the description below, and you'll be taken here directly. Moving along, our preseason prediction records. Shaq and I predicted every single game before the season started. I am 125 and 81, and then Shaq is 117 and 89. Shaq was right on my heels like 2 weeks ago, but
yeah, so was Pittsburgh in the playoffs.
Well, now we on the outside looking in with probably bad draft picks. So here we go.
That is a good segue right into our first topic of the day, which is, of course, our recap of last week in the NFL. We're going to start off with the first game of last week, last Thursday. This was not a riveting game, and then it was a riveting game. The Steelers came up short against the Vikings, 36-28. Shaq, we're going right to you on this one. What was the main reason your Steelers could not finish the comeback?
Because for some reason they don't know how to play football unless they're playing from behind. Some odd reason, instead of starting the game off hot, they like to wait till like 20 points down with a quarter and a half left of football. and then they want to decide to play football. So if they would start like popping off earlier than waiting, and heaven forbid that team actually still kind of keep their foot on the gas, there's no way they can maintain that. Like, we were close, and then Minnesota scored again, and we're kind of like, there's not enough time on the clock for us to really do it. There was potential, but we need to find a way to start off earlier than what we usually do and stop putting so much pressure on our defense to try and hold them off so long before our offense decides to start playing.
Yeah, I do agree a lot with that. You guys are most definitely a second half team, seemingly all year. I mean, if I could pin it to one thing, I would probably say just the fact that Dalvin Cook had a hell of a game, which was, I mean, hey, props to him. But in the second half, it seems like the Vikings just were like, hey, Kirk Cousins, you want to throw the ball around a bit? And that put you guys right back into the game as soon as that started happening. But, I mean, if I could say one thing, I'd say probably Dalvin Cook. Chase Claypool not hurrying and, deciding to mess around as if this was the first quarter or something and it didn't really matter. That definitely costed you guys another possession or two down in the red zone there. And all it took was that one that is it Freiermouth, the tight end you guys have? Yeah. He damn near caught the ball, and that was just off the one play that they did have down there. So if they did have a couple more possessions with that 10, 15 seconds that Claypool ran off the clock, I feel like you guys would have a pretty good shot at cashing that one in. So a little bit of Claypool, a little bit of Dalvin Cook, and a little bit of, like you said, the fact that just always play from behind. It's uphill battles are tough to win constantly. So
it's not like we have like a fresh, brand new quarterback who's got full of energy. This man's old. We need to find a way to cater to that.
Mainland, what would you think was the main reason?
I don't think it's because Big Man's old. I think it's because he threw for 40 times.
Yeah,
every time that man throws 40 times, he loses the game. I do think that the Cook running 250 yards and 2 touchdowns definitely had something to do with it. But they got the brakes blown off of him. It was 29 to nothing. With 2 minutes left in the third. It was, I don't know. I don't like games where Shaq's team makes me look stupid when I actually bet on Steelers to win.
Well, right now, Shaq, it's not looking. I mean, I don't know. Your division right now
there would
extremely
have to be a lot
strange.
going wrong with everybody else, and a lot going right with us for the rest of the season. All the other teams would have to find a way to fall apart for us too. Because right now we're last in the division when it comes to.
I feel like everybody's within a game or a half game of each other.
It would take a lot for us. I mean, granted, what plays an advantage is that there's a lot of divisional games left for us on the schedule. Mm-hmm. So if you could find a way to squeeze those wins out, that'd play a big factor. But our team is so inconsistent with stuff. We do really well one week and then the next week just get embarrassed. So I can never bet on the team for anything.
We're going to move into the next game here. This was a great overtime game on Sunday. The Bucks were able to beat the Bills in overtime, 33-27. However, down the stretch, there were some questionable calls that came into play. Main, I'm going to go to you first on this one. Do you think the refs cost the Bills this game?
No, I think the Bills cost themselves the game. This game was a snoozer until the fourth quarter. I mean, it was 24-3 at half. It was 27-10 going into the fourth. Every time that Buffalo had it up until the fourth quarter, they shot themselves in the foot. Allen was the leading passer and the leading rusher. The man rushed 12 times for 190 yards and a touchdown. He can't do everything. And when he tries to do everything, he's going to press himself into making mistakes. And, like Brady did what Brady does. He walked the sideline at the end of the game when the Bills were tying it. He looked constipated as hell. And then once he got the ball a couple times, he ended up making history going for 700 touchdowns. I mean, at this point, I just kind of went like, when is he going to retire? Like, how many touchdowns is this man going to have before he retires? This is getting ridiculous. So I don't know. It was an ugly game for 3 quarters. It was really thrilling for 1 quarter and part of overtime. But it just kind of shows again that I think the Bucs are in like kind of a class of their own.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that the refs necessarily cost them the game here. There were some bad calls down the stretch, but I think that throughout the course of a game, usually the calls balance themselves out. Like there's bad calls on either side. I do think that at the end of the day, they did cost themselves this game. Like you said, Josh Allen, the leading rusher for them, he was literally their only option to run the ball, and they have to do something about that. The running game for them and against them is a huge problem for the Bills right now, and they've got to get that figured out. Josh Allen cannot do it all for 4 quarters, like maybe a half or a quarter, but for the whole game, they've got to figure out, especially this time of year, how to run the ball consistently and somehow at least not just completely get ran through by the opposing team's rushing attack. I think the run on both sides of the ball right now is the Bills' biggest problem and really why they've lost 2 in a row right now. So that's what I think on Buffalo Shaq.
I feel that too. Still a believer without no run game, it kind of will lead to your failure late in the season.
Yeah.
You cannot lean on your quarterback purely for offense production. They have this man trying to throw the ball and be a rusher at the same exact time. They need to find a way to be diverse in this.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually what happens if he gets in a game where he's mentally blocked out, he's not producing, and you need to find a way to get in rushing games for his confidence. What happens then? So, need to change it up. They're defeating themselves with no run game.
I can't even think of their running back's name off the top of my head right now.
Mm-hmm.
No idea who, or at least who's starting right now. So, I don't know, Buffalo. Figure it out, but I hope you don't until next year because that would be beneficial for us. Moving on into the last game of our recap. This one was just yesterday, a NFC West showdown. The Rams went to Arizona and upset the Cardinals 30-23. Score does not really reflect on the tone of this game, but Malin, let's just take out your Seahawk fandom for a second here, but are you concerned with the Cardinals?
I am. I do think they're a good story. I think they've been a good story. But in the NFL, and listen, the Bucs proved it last year when they started 6-5 and then ran the table, right? It's not how you play the first half of the year. It's how you play the second half of the year. And they had a hell of a first half. And even in this game, I mean, listen, it was tied 13-13 going into the half. And then all of a sudden, Jefferson gets a 52-yard touchdown. Then Murray throws a pick, and then it leads to Cooper Kupp getting a 4-yard touchdown. And all of a sudden, halfway through the quarter, like the game's like blown open. I think what really might end up ailing this team is the inexperience of someone like their coach, Kingsbury, heading into the playoffs, heading into the latter part of this season. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but when Murray was running on the field at the end of that game, he was kind of favoring his left leg over his right leg. Like he was kind of jogging, kind of funny looking. I mean, I know he's short. He was sometimes jogging a little funny. And then, you hear the news today that Hopkins is going to be out for the rest of the regular season. He's got a knee injury, a knee sprain. I don't know what degree it is. But then you really have to kind of start to think, like, okay, so they went from the number 1 seed to the number 3 seed. They don't have Hopkins the rest of the year. Murray seems a little bit hobbled. They're making mistakes they weren't making in the first part of the year. What's going to happen come the playoffs? Now, are they going to make the playoffs? Absolutely. They definitely are making the playoffs. But it looks like the Packers have that road to the number 1 seed right now. And I don't think you're going to have as nice a weather as you had last year in the NFC Championship game if it's in Green Bay. So, you got some injured players on that squad going into the playoffs cold. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you bring up a few great points. Hopkins going down, that's huge. Murray has been, for most of the season, he's been dinged, and it seems like he still probably won't be healthy for the rest of the year. Not 100% healthy. Like, whatever his issue is probably still nagging him, and that will probably continue, and it's not going to get any better as the weather just continues to get colder. And, them being the Arizona Cardinals going into these colder stadiums, they're going to have a very hard time. But fortunately, it just goes to show, like, how much injuries play a part in the postseason. Like, just like that,
and
who we thought the number 1 seed is very vulnerable right now.
You look at the where was James Conner in that game? He was nowhere.
Yeah, he
wasn't doing anything.
But then
he started off strong. Yeah. And then, just talking about more mistakes, I mean, you're in the beginning part of the game, you're up 3-0, you're in the red zone. Murray throws his first of 2 picks to Jones. And then what did the Rams do? They went down like 90-something yards, scored a touchdown. So instead of it being 10-0, it was 7-3. And from that moment, they're like playing catch-up the rest of the time.
Yeah, G Money brings up a strange stat. The Cardinals 3-3 at home, but 7-0 on the road, which, I mean, very good point. Even, as the weather gets colder, we'll see how that changes here. They did go to Chicago the week before, and they beat the brakes off of them, but it also was Chicago. So, Shaq.
It just makes me worry about this team. This is a very fun team to watch, and now coming late season and postseason, it makes me worry with injuries, lack of experience. I'm just starting to stress about them. Or how far will they go? Going from 1 seed to now, how far will they make it postseason? 1 or 2 games in the postseason, or are they gonna try and make the long haul? So we shall see.
Yeah, they good for them. They do play indoors literally the rest of the year. They have 2 more home games, and then they play Detroit and Dallas in there as well. So they don't have to worry about the cold getting to them in the regular season for the rest of the time being. But we'll see how the standings work out and where they'll have to end up going. So gonna be very telling, but how quick things change is always surprising in the NFL. And like that, we're going to move into our fantasy updates. Malin and Shaq's favorite monthly segment here. So we like to fill you guys in once a month on how things are going with our After Further Review Fantasy Football League. So this is our 3rd update, our second to last one. This year has flown by. But I have to ask you guys, Malin, who has been your favorite player on your team in the past 30 days since we did our last check-in?
Well, I know that Kittle's been my favorite the last 2 weeks. That man has gone for 330 yards and 22 catches and 3 touchdowns. So he has been a beast. But over the last 30 days, it'd probably be Lockett. He's had 21 catches, over 400 yards, and a couple touchdowns. He's been probably the most consistent for me. Not everybody can have Cooper Kupp in this league like you do. I have him in like 2 other leagues, so I'm loving that. But it's been a rough year in this league.
Yeah, I was playing against you this past week, and George Kittle was just giving it to me. He was on fire, and the Bengals just could not seem to figure out that that's where the ball's going on every third down. But, that's neither here nor there. My favorite player, like you just said, Cooper Kupp, he's been my favorite player all year. I mean, consistently has been the number 1 receiver in the NFL this entire season, so this past month is no exception to that. God bless Cooper Kupp. That man is on fire. Yeah, even when other guys, they come and go, they fall off and then come back on, Kupp has been extremely consistently dominant, so that's been my favorite player.
Do you think that Cooper Kupp is a product of the system, or do you think he would be able to put these numbers on any team?
I'd like to say he could go to another team and do this. McVay, I mean, I don't know what it is, but McVay seems to have something in the books that has Cooper Kupp written all over it that it just works. Because even when Jared Goff was there, he was still he wasn't this good, but he was still a damn good receiver. But I would like to imagine that if he went somewhere else, he could be just as productive. Maybe not on year 1, but once he got the hang of things, he could be a stud somewhere else as well. Shaq.
As much as this person acted out last game, I would like to say Claypool has been one of the more consistent players, points-wise. I feel like Steelers, their offense kind of runs through him, even though he's kind of like a newer receiver on their team. They depend on him and the run game to do really well. So, with him being their main receiver on their team, and kind of benefits me a lot in points. And it's saying a lot for him being my best player on my team. If you already see my record right now, you understand.
On that same note, who's been your least favorite player, Shaq?
God, the rest of my team.
And at least in the last 30 days, is there somebody that you have just wanted to completely eject off of the planet Earth?
Here's my thing. A good half of my team is either on IR or out because of either COVID or some sort of injury. To the point that I even drafted Cam Newton to join my freaking roster. That's how bad it is. They benched that man. Cam Newton. It's a tie between Cam Newton and Zeke.
Have you started Cam Newton?
No, I started him the first week he came back in the league and he played and he did moderately okay. But other than that, they benched him halfway through the game the rest of the season, so I stopped playing him. So it's kind of like they bring this man in the league to bench him half the game, and Zeke is just Zeke this season, where he maybe had 1 to 2 good games this season. For the rest of it, it's kind of been middle of the pack running back.
Yeah. For me, I'll make this pretty quick. Least favorite player, I was singing praises about him probably last time we did check in, but Joe Burrow for me has just been yikes this past month. For the past literally 5 weeks, he always starts negative points and then he'll creep back up by halftime. He usually has a couple, and then he'll come alive and finish with 12, 15. But I don't know. Joe Burrow this past month has been yikes for me. Malin?
I could go with Alex Collins.
Huh.
I picked him up when Chris Carson got hurt, and he had a 100-yard game against Shaq Steelers, and apparently that wasn't even good because some people get 200 yards against Steelers. But ever since then, he's just been terrible. The last 4 games, let me read these stats for you. This is pathetic. All right. He had 10 carries for 36 yards with 3.6 points against Arizona. 7 carries for 14 points against Washington. Got 1.7. Didn't even play the next week. And then last week, 7 carries for 16 yards for 2.7 points. Man got me a whopping 8 points in 30 days. That is sad.
Pretty hard to beat on that side of this segment. Moving forward, I'm pretty sure both of you guys are not going to be making the playoffs.
No, there'll be no making the playoffs at this point.
But do you have any kind of goal or strategy with the rest of this last 4 weeks or whatever that's left?
Fuck up the rest of the league as much as possible.
All right, Shaq is the same goal as last time. Sticking with that.
Be as toxic as I can for the rest of this fantasy league as possible. Y'all need some players? Come talk to me. Maybe I have 1 or 2. Good luck.
Shaq has been in fuck up the league as possible moves since like week 3.
This is a draft.
It's just not good.
Doesn't seem to be working very well for him.
I gotta be honest, I don't have a strategy for this league. Out of the 4 leagues I'm in, I am in a family league on my wife's side, where I seem to be demolishing people. I'm 12-2 on that one. And we're starting playoffs this week. And I was looking at the people I was going up against, and it's kind of funny because I have Wilson, but this Joker has Tyler Lockett. And then he has Matt Stafford, but I have Cooper Kupp. And the Rams and the Seahawks play each other. So I really, as much as I love Lockett, I need Wilson to find that juju with Metcalf again.
Right.
And score some other points. Because I'd really like to finish off the one league I'm doing good, and I'd like to actually finish that one strong.
My strategy here is to not stay stagnant. I've got Joe Burrow, like I said, who's been asleep at the wheel this past month. I did pick up Mac Jones a few weeks ago because Burrow was on bye. And I'm gonna have to at some point. And I know I'm gonna have to switch them out for a week or 2. Like I gotta just trust that Mac Jones is gonna have a decent game, put up like 18, 19, maybe 20 points 1 week, and not keep relying on Joe Burrow to wake up. So it's just a matter of finding out which week that will be because of the remaining schedule. But anyway, yeah, I do not want to get stagnant and then end up losing because I'm waiting for something to happen that never does. So, any comments on that shit?
None at all. Leave it at that.
You need to be just in don't fuck it up mode. You've been like the best person in the league. And there's nothing worse than being number 1 in the league the whole year and then blow it at the end. There's no sour taste worse than that.
Yes, don't be a team that goes 11 straight wins and then fucks it up when it matters the most.
We are going to take a break. Folks, go use the bathroom, do whatever you need to do to prepare yourself for the second half of this show, which will be back in about 7.5 minutes. So we'll be back. Peace.
Last man standing wins. Team Sonor is the 12th pick. Just that fast. Going back in. Who's going next? Pick 11. Team Nestor goes. Let's get these out of the way. It's a methodical process. Team Johnson goes next. Pick number 10. Didn't even care to eat it. Who's next? Washington football team, DC. Hold on, technicality. The checks is still on the table. Going back in. Sloth goes. Sorry, Uncle Shaq. Gonna take the paper too. Fair enough. Okay, and then, Team Meyer. Is he gonna take it? Yeah, he's gonna take it. There it goes. Alright, who's going next? Oh, D plus 5 off the board. Alright, who's going next? Yeah, the paper does not count. Dowdy goes first, and then Team Lambert. It's going back in. Last 4. Who's pick number 4? Team Warren goes at 4. Who's going at 3? 3. Oh, Talking Demon goes at 3. Number 2. Oh, leave your own dad. He put him at number 2. What a shame. Congrats to Morgan, Washington football team, DC, number 1 pick.
I will show. How about this? Here's my bet. I will show up to the bar with the Juju jersey. If we win, I will give it to you, and you have to wear the Juju jersey on the show next Wednesday if the Steelers win.
But Shaq cannot take the jersey off at any point during the game.
That's fair. fair enough.
The whole game.
They bring 5. Smith goes sideline. It's caught by Morgan, who lost the football, and it's recovered by Swain. Inbounds with the clock running and no timeouts. And they scramble to kill it. Down to 3 and 2. They line up with 1.
Yeah, pretty freaking plain.
I'm chucking this shit. It's Del Mabry. By the way.
How can you not see that there is 1 second on the clock? This is emotional. Boy, you better spike the shit out of this, Gino. Oh, what do you mean, wide left? There was... No, he thought we were friends. Yeah, you better fold that shit up. We ain't done yet. Get off the bar.
I respect your attitude here.
We'll be quiet.
No, it's great. You're laughing and having a good time.
He's the one drinking beer. I'm drinking water.
Yeah. My English teacher is the reason I put pressure on your neck. Black intelligence is just as dangerous as a tech. Bet. Don't let me get the buck and have the whole crowd ducking. I ain't even done yet. I just started, I ain't even having fun yet. Still learning, I ain't started going dumb yet. Bum as I succumb to the drum set. Hold your applause, y'all, I wasn't done yet. As I... Oh, y'all think it's a game? That's just feeding the flame that took a seat in my brain. It isn't keeping me sane. Cause don't nobody wanna dance slow in the rain. But we can take it to the dance floor to ease the pain. We can pop, lock, and drop it cause we tired of the topic. Take a trip to the tropics on the beach getting sloppy. Whoa, Kimosabe, big ballin' is my hobby. But ain't nothing gon' stop it till we seize the reins. Seize it, man. Put it in a headlock, squeeze it, man. Carpe diem, my heart stay beating. It's what y'all needed, believe it, man. I had to seize it, man. Put it in a headlock, squeeze it, man. Carpe diem, my heart stay beating. It's what y'all needed, believe it, man. I just had a breakthrough. There ain't nothing y'all can do with me. I just...
Where's the phone? Where's the phone? Sergeant, stop! Get the fuck out of here!
Tell them to fall back. Tell them to fall back.
You're cut off! Do something!
First question. Who is currently leading the NFL in reception yards?
I'm going with Arizona.
I'm a player. Sorry, player.
Larry. I'm going with Larry.
Larry who?
Fitzgerald.
Oh my God!
No!
Currently.
He's not still in the Arizona Cardinals? Where's he at?
Cooper.
Just drink.
Which current quarterback that is actively playing has thrown the most interceptions so far this season?
Heineke.
No. Okay, no. It's Mahomes and Zach Wilson. Dang it.
Really?
Yes.
Drink! You deserve that L. Do it.
Your head coach, Ron Rivera, he won a Super Bowl in the 80s as a part of what team?
Fuck it, Michigan.
No.
Wait.
NFL. The NFL, my guy. The NFL. Oh. Oakland Raiders.
That was a good guess.
That's good. It was Washington, wasn't it?
It was the Bears, actually.
Oh, the Bears, okay.
Which current running back, has the most yards at the first initial contact?
Jesus.
45 seconds. What was
You were wiping your forehead. Don't worry about
What
it.
they got to do with me and my
Henry.
Does me wiping my forehead change time?
It does, because that's like a time zone.
Who was our quarterback in Washington or Redskins? He was the first black quarterback on the Washington football team. Why are you asking me this? Oh my god. Jason Campbell.
No.
Hell no.
How was he the first black quarterback?
Nigga, he's black, isn't he?
He was the first black quarterback on Washington.
Or Doug Williams is just as black. Ryan knows he needs some water.
If Ryan makes you do the entirety of the show, give him a medal of honor for it.
I mean, listen, hey, he thought that Fitzgerald was still playing, so he's playing with that.
And not just still playing, but had the most.
At an all-pro level.
Remember to follow the show on Instagram and TikTok at AFR Sports. That's at AFR Sports. Now back to the show featuring your hosts Jalen and Shaquille.
Welcome back, folks, to the second half of this show. We are coming right back at you live with episode number 63. Hope you guys had a good break.
I actually emptied my bladder on my break, so
like
a responsible host.
There we go. We're going to take our second half shot before we get into the news for the week. Gentlemen.
There we go.
By the way, Lakers and Mavs currently in overtime. Lakers are up by 1 with a minute and a half left. So,
how mad does that make you, Shaq?
I mean,
for a Miami Heat fan, how mad does that make you?
In all reality, the success means nothing to me. It's just this team is painful to watch the Lakers.
Anyway, we're gonna get into the news for the week.
Today's top stories and breaking news.
All right, so to start off the news, so this is kind of revisiting an older story. So for those that are not aware, Phillip Adams, the former, he was on a bunch of different teams, but cornerback in the NFL, who passed away back in, I think it was April, in an extremely violent way where he killed a few people and then ended up killing himself. Now the brain examination has come out, and it was found that he had unusually severe stage 2 CTE that was found in this brain examination. The whole situation is extremely sad. I mean, I feel worse for the family that he ended up killing, and I think it was like AC repairmen who were working on the house that the family was living at, who he also killed in the process. I mean, shouts out to their families. Like, that is really unfortunate, but and for him as well. Like, just the whole thing is extremely sad. But yeah, the fact that it appears that he had some really severe CTE, it just kind of keeps going along with this last like decade or so of the head trauma that these NFL players sustain. I don't know what you guys think on this one.
I just think it puts more responsibility on the league to kind of find a way to protect the players from head injuries and everything. For these past couple, look how much big newsworthy players they do get. Oh.
Just lost Malin's video feed there, but Shaggy, you can continue.
Yeah, how many big noteworthy cases in the past 10, 15 years do you see of players dying, violent deaths, killing people, drama because of bad head injuries and everything? I know they're doing a lot when it comes to helmets or new update, the new rules about leading with your helmet and not aiming for the head and everything, but it's still room for improvement. There's a lot of work to be done with these players, making sure longevity, just not making sure they're able to play for longer times, but thinking about their life beyond football long after they retire or
yeah. They did say that he had reached out to the NFL to try and get help because leading up to all this happening, he was not in good mental health. There was on record. But I guess he could not complete the steps necessary, probably jump through the hoops necessary in order to get the help that the NFL could have provided to him. So it was kind of too little, too late. But Malin, what did you think about this?
Well, first I think it's important to actually talk about the people that passed away. Dr. Robert Leslie, who was a doctor, his wife Barbara, and then what is really sad is that two of their grandchildren, 9-year-old Ada Leslie and 5-year-old Noah Leslie. And then, like you said, there were two workers, James Lewis and Robert Shock, who were AD people that were working on a house. Beyond tragic.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being a parent and getting news that your parents are murdered and your children have been murdered at the same time. So my heart goes out to that. When it comes to Phillip Adams, he was drafted in the 7th round of the Niners. He played for, obviously, the Niners, the Patriots, the Seahawks, the Jets, and the Falcons. He only played in every game of the year twice in the 5 years he played in the league. Had 128 tackles, 5 interceptions, 1 fumble. I say all that to say that he didn't exactly have an overextensive NFL career. For them to say that he had a severely unusual case of CTE, which to me, it brings it back more into how early are we letting people play contact football? How young is too young? We don't know the reps of how many you played in high school, college, or anything like that, but we're not talking about a 20-year veteran that played a bunch of games, had a historic career. He had a very marginal NFL career, but yet the CTE scan showed that he had a severe case of CTE, which more than likely you would have to assume led to the erratic behavior and the mental illness that kind of led to the unstable nature that I don't want to say caused him to do what he did, because I don't want to just say that mental illness means that you have to kill people, because there's a lot of people in the NFL that retire and probably CTE and they're not making those decisions. But I don't think the NFL can hide from that. I think this is something that they have to face. And I think that for the NFL's longevity, they got to get in more with the youth programs and high school football. What really is the safest route to take early on is your development. It's really cute to see if you're running around with a big old helmet on his head, knocking down, stuff like that. But what is happening to that brain then that could lead to happening now? Because I don't think this happened in the NFL.
Yes. Like what you said earlier, these kids are playing pee-wee football from a very early age. Everyone likes to see the kid go out and play sports and do this. I support you kids going out there and playing sports safely, though. Those kids' brains are still developing at a very early age, and they still continue to develop, like, probably in their 20s and probably till close around that age. So the fact that these kids are taking, like, damage to their bodies, their brains from 8, 9 years old, all the way, if they make it pro, all the way to the 20s and 30s and late ages, it's kind of like, how much can the human body take before it takes long-term damage or continues to stay with them for the rest of their life? And they need to continue to follow through with their players and make sure that you're good, medical bills, making sure that you stay healthy.
Yeah, G Money in the chat says it's really not the length of time someone plays in the NFL. It's how many concussions they suffer during their playing time and how severe those concussions were. Shaq, like you said, I do think that the NFL needs to do a better job post-career. I know that obviously a lot of players come and go throughout this league, but I think that they should do their due diligence. Like if you played more than, let's just say, one season, like as long as you've been in the league for one season, that they do like check-ins with these players however so often to just see how they're doing. Like even if it's, you know, a CTE related thing, to see where their head is at. If you need anything, even if it's not CTE, if they're just depressed, like maybe we can get you hooked up with a therapist in our network and you can speak to somebody from there. But I think just since it is a huge machine and there's a lot of people on each NFL team and practice squads and whatnot, which I get it. I do think that it would be a dream to think that they're going to keep track with every single player that ever touches a field is a bit out there. But I think that if they played a certain amount of time, that they should be able to keep up with them afterwards on a regular basis just to see where they're at and try and nip these things early before it gets to this point where it's like even if he wanted to get help, he was in such a bad mental state where he could not get to that point.
Well, okay, but we say it's unreasonable to think the NFL can keep tabs on everybody outside the league, right? Yet, even during COVID last year, the NFL made $5 billion. You can't tell me they can't put a staff together and get it in such a way where they're keeping better tabs on former players for the trigger signs and trying to get them the help that they get or that they need. But the problem is that, you know, like the NFL is for not for long. It's a what have you done for me lately league. And if you're not producing on the field, if you're not helping drive revenue in any professional sport, they're not thinking about you. And I think they need to start. But at the same token, when we talk about concussions, right? Do we think that someone like in the NHL is getting less concussions than somebody in the NFL?
Probably not.
But we keep hearing about these violent episodes with these NFL players, right? I don't hear anything about these other reports like contact, like the NHL and stuff like that. Like something's amiss, and the NFL has to figure it out because they've got a problem on their hands when it comes to that. They can't keep sustaining these types of instances and keep sweeping it under the rug.
I think it's a pride issue because we're assuming that everybody's reporting that they're not feeling well. They got hit hard in the back. You know what?
Right.
My head hurts. I'm really not feeling well. I'm nauseous, whatever. There's probably a lot of players that get hit really hard and they're not feeling right, but they're like, you know what? I'm going to suck it up. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to get back on the field and do it. So those are the people who are probably scraping underneath, who probably got concussions, not saying anything, and just like going through the process. I'm trying to rough it through these concussions. It's like it falls a lot on the league, but it also falls a lot on the players to say, yo, I'm not feeling right, so I'm going to go ahead and tell somebody to make sure that I do get through or do get the help that I need, that instead of toughing it out,
right,
that I need to make sure I do get the health care that I need for these head injuries. Your head injury.
Right.
It's not like you broke your finger. You try to tough it out.
Right.
You got one brain. You got one. You need to make sure you get that shit checked out. So there's probably a lot of players toughing shit out that it shouldn't be.
Well, it probably all like you look at this guy's stats over 5 years. How was he in the league for 5 years as 28 tackles? He's probably playing a lot of special teams.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the players that the NFL needs to start looking at. And we know the NFL is not doing everything they can as far as like protocol. They're very picky and choosy. I still believe, without a shadow of a doubt, Super Bowl 49 that Julian Edelman had a cut. That man got laid out in the beginning of the fourth quarter, came back to that game. Why was he allowed to go back in the game? Because the Patriots had a Super Bowl to win, and they ended up winning it largely in part of what he did. But it's also the culture of getting there and help him win. And someone like Julian Edelman, when his spot is secure, they weren't cutting Julian Edelman. What do you think the people that are playing special teams that are number like 35 through 53?
Exactly.
They're going to tell somebody they got a headache?
Yeah. I've heard a ton of players say, like, once they're retired, say, yeah, I've had my bell rung a few times and knew I should have not been playing, but continued to play just because I didn't want to be off the field and be the reason why we lost a game or X, Y, and Z. That same play just brought up Julian Edelman. I heard it from, I forgot what I was watching, but him himself, he said, yeah, I should not have still been playing after that hit, but, you know, there's a Super Bowl on the line. I'm not going to sit down after that.
But the biggest thing is not even about winning the game, it's about the money.
Right, yeah.
Like, most of these people are not finishing college. NCAA is failing college athletics. They're not making graduate. They're putting everything on the line, making an NFL career. They don't have plan B. And they want to make, they're going to sell their future for the right now. And no one is putting parameters in place to stop people from doing it.
Yeah.
Yes, especially the college age. I feel like they're more willing to put risk on the line for performing well.
You're trying to hit that level.
Yeah, like, even my sister, who does track on a college level, she missed a year of running because of like partial ACL tear. And talking to her about it, she's like, if she was physically able to, she would have try to physically run through that. But she's like, just pain wise and physical wise, she was not able to run through that. But she said if she was able to tough it out a little bit more, she would have tried to ignore that injury. But it's like an ACL tear. It's not a small injury. It's definitely a big, especially when your sole sport is running and a sprinting event. That's very heavy wear and tear on.
All about your burst.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the fact that people on a college level, 18, 19, 20 years old, are willing to put their body through shit for the next level.
And I totally get what you're saying. Like, you don't want to like lose your spot, right? Like, I have a cousin who plays Division I football for Tech, and he was a starting receiver game one, sprained his ankle, and then even once he was healthy, like, he didn't exactly have like the same role they were envisioning for the year. And so, like, losing your spot to injury is a real thing, but I really think that college did a better job of making sure college football players were set up a plan B. And then maybe when they're in the NFL, they're going to pay attention to the warning signs a little bit more often, understanding that, I have something to do after football. But maybe I don't need to keep killing myself, be number 48 on a roster. I don't know. I think it's the difference going all the way down from all the way up to the NFL as far as coaching, teaching, all of that.
Yeah.
But in the day, we gotta be safe.
Yeah, to round this thing out, like you were saying, I mean, if you hit the NFL, that means you've literally played football your entire life. So you have all of these injuries that could be physical or, mentally that you've suffered your entire life and now they're continuing. Do you guys think that it definitely needs to start at the early stage, like reverse this all the way back to when you first started playing? You think that the focus should be more on the safety side of when kids are first starting to play football?
Yes. We can even go back to it may not have to be like Pee Wee football, but even go back to like high school football, where I feel like high school football is where the intensity really starts and people actually start to really take it seriously and everything.
Right.
Start from high school age onward. You sit down with these players like, yo, your mental health and like everything else is really fucking important to us. So we could go ahead and start investing. Sit down with you every once in a while and be like, how are you doing mentally? How are you overall? Start from that age. Just sit down regularly with these players, because you cannot trust these people who are willing to literally. Some of these players who are willing to put their life down on football, where their family, providing for their family, feeding themselves, their life is based off of playing this game. You cannot trust them to make the best of decisions overall for their mental
right long term.
Yeah. So just sit down with
But how do you do that, though? Because you also have to think about it on this level. Okay? If someone ends up playing college ball, that's probably a pretty important player on your high school team.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay. A high school football coach has a job, right? Makes money based on being the football coach. You think he doesn't have an invested interest in getting the best players on the field, right or wrong?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, maybe if you give these coaches a little bit more job security, maybe they'll start making decisions that are better for the player than them. Because at the end of the day, like, most people are going to be thinking about their paycheck. Most people are going to be thinking about their job. These people go out there and sell themselves out on an NFL roster playing special teams, CTE. And so I think it's kind of hard to ask a 48 to 52-year-old football coach that needs that money to be like, you know what, make this decision for the better part of the person, even though it could end up costing your job if your season goes sideways. You know what I mean? So there's just so many layers this onion that I don't know how they figure it out. I don't know how they fix it. But they need to do more than put a Band-Aid on it. They need to actually start trying for a substantial change.
Yeah. With that being said, I think we can all agree that it needs to start at the start. Like, waiting until the NFL and just expecting the 20 years of head trauma, the NFL just solve all of that is kind of unrealistic for them to. It's like, yes, do whatever you can in your power, but at the end of the day, we should start looking at step one before we look at the end result.
And the only reason why that's the NFL's responsibility is because Pee Wee, middle school, high school, and college is their talent pipeline.
Right.
And they're the ones making the most money. They're the ones with billions of dollars in the bank that can affect change at the lower level. And so unless they want their talent pool to dwindle, because parents like, you know what, I'd rather you play baseball and basketball, because you're not smacking your head against other people. They need to do something. That's why it's ultimately responsibility. I don't think it starts at the NFL, but they got to protect that investment. And they got to figure out a way to make it.
For sure. All right, moving into a lighter subject here. Next on the news, this was just yesterday night. Steph Curry, officially the NBA league leader in 3-pointers made after he beat Ray Allen's record at the Knicks Stadium at MSG. This was a huge, monumental sports event. They basically just paused the game and let him have his moment after he hit that shot. Now, last episode when we recorded, he was like a dozen or 15.
Yeah, I was about to say like 17, 15 shots away.
No, he was 15. And he made us all look stupid. because he didn't do it by Saturday.
But yeah,
But I think he tried to make sure he did it at the Garden.
Right. It took almost a full week since then. He probably could have done it at Indy, but who the hell wants to break that record at Indianapolis? So let's be real here. He wanted to have his flowers at the Mecca at Madison Square Garden. That's where everybody wants to have a great game. All the greats have had their historic game at MSG, and he wanted to put his name into the history books there. So yeah, Steph breaking this record was just crazy to think that this kid from Davidson did it so quickly in the grand scheme of things. Such a huge took Ray Allen decades to set this record, and Steph did it in less than a decade, or about a decade, give or take a couple of years. It is wild to think about. But what do you guys think of Steph Curry breaking this record?
I'm just gonna say, with him doing it in a fraction, a significant amount of less years that Ray Allen did it, I would like to say give props to him. It just goes to show, look, for the next person who hopes to break this record, good luck with that, because this man has a lot of career left to do and a lot of 3-pointers. He's probably gonna sink doing this, so that record is gonna be. Can imagine another person trying to touch this 3-point record. Yes, I can't imagine a person trying to break this 3-point record in this process of their career. It's gonna be very hard for them. That's all I gotta say for them.
Malin?
There's a few things about this. Some of it funny, some of it is. One, I love the fact that Knicks fans, they get up on a Tuesday to celebrate somebody else getting, like, how many times Knicks fans have to celebrate the red carpet being rolled out for the opposing team to do something historic on their home court, because their home team is so terrible that they don't do anything worthwhile for their fans to show up on Tuesday. Second, I thought it was hilarious that Spike Lee was photobombing the interview, basically dipping Curry's butt. Like, I don't know what camera angle he was going for. He definitely wasn't hiding himself in that orange red suit, but he literally had his head about 3 feet away from Curry's ass. So that was funny in and of itself. I mean, have some respect, man. For yourself. And the moment. Jesus Christ. But talking about Steph Curry. People say that, well, the 3-point is a heck of a lot more prevalent now than it ever was when someone like Ray Allen originally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why do people think that is? It's because Steph Curry made it prevalent.
Right.
Like, Ray Allen was never, like, he was never great at creating his own shots.
Right.
Okay? It doesn't matter how Steph has his 3-pointer. It doesn't matter if he has to dribble and create his own shot. It doesn't matter if he has to do a half court, which is stupid the amount of times he does that. It doesn't matter if he has to drive in and then kick back out. Like, the fact that he's such an all-around great player is also what makes him such a great 3-point player. If you defend him too closely at the line, he's just going to fly back and go to the basket.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So he's prolific in and of himself. Now, here's a crazy stat I heard on ESPN today. Out Jim Rose, Reggie Miller, who used to hold the record, right? He had one game where he had 9 or more 3-points made in a single game. Okay.
Yeah, I see where you're going here.
Allen. Guess how many times Allen did it?
Only a couple of times.
0.
Yeah, they
never had 9 or more. Guess how many times Steph Curry's done it?
I want to say 12 or 11.
38 times.
Jesus Christ.
That man 3-pointers or more. Like, it is unreal how talented he is throwing, or like just throwing it up. Okay. So I get that the game has changed, but the game has changed because Curry changed the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he's only He's what, 28 now? No, 28, 30.
He's like 31.
30. I think he's 30. He probably has about 5 more years to be in the league. But then again, LeBron James 36. And LeBron James still on that. So I mean, he can still put like another 7 years to keep himself in shape. He definitely got over those ankle issues he had earlier in his career. He used to be breaking his own ankles, not other people's. So it's almost like where does it end? Like, get to make it unreachable because nobody in the NBA right now is going to pass him.
Yeah,
nobody. Trae Young will have to average over 300 a year for a decade to even get close. They didn't get close. So if anyone's ever going to break it, they're 12 years old right now, just throwing up hoops. Like that's how much Steph Curry has changed the game. Phenomenal.
Untouchable record right now.
Yeah, I think on that second on that list you were saying, I'm pretty sure is Klay Thompson, and it's a wide gap between the two.
He's been healthy the last 3 years.
Exactly.
And Klay Thompson can do the ball, man. I mean, he owns the record 14 in a single game. But even if Klay Thompson had stayed healthy, he was never going to catch him.
No.
Especially on the same team.
Right.
But it is just insane how talented he is.
Yeah, he's, to me, probably the most entertaining player in sports to watch. He's one of my favorite NBA players without a doubt. He's just a complete show. Like, to watch him play is absolutely ridiculous. It's like, because you just never know what he's gonna do or like when he's gonna go off. Watching Steph Curry play is just an absolute pleasure. And folks, take it all in. Take it all in, because when he hangs it up, it's gonna be one of those dudes, right? Yeah, you're gonna miss him for sure, because we're not gonna see another dude like him who completely reshapes the game for a very long time.
And humble. He knows he's the best. He knows he's the best shooter. But even he said last night, he's like, everyone say I was the best shooter in history until I got that record. But now he's like, yes. But it's obvious that he's been for a very long time. The things that he's able to do and accomplish with the basketball. And it's not just shooting a three.
Right.
It's his overall game that gives him the space to be able to do what he has to do. Like, people have to respect his overall game.
I still think, like John said, his favorite player to watch. Still one of my top 2-3 favorite players to watch right now play basketball.
Yeah, a walking show.
You can watch him any given night and just be like, this man's about to do something.
Right. He's playing his own game.
Yes. Game versus the world right now.
And I would like to point out that one who he had the record, right? For I think 5 years. I would just like to point out that he did his second most three-pointers as the Seattle Sounders at 164 three-pointers for a single team. So shout out on it. I bet you guys are going to work him in on the podcast. But it happened. Bring him back. Fuck the Thunder. Let's go. Losing by 73 people.
The only question I wanted to ask you guys on this one, or only other question I wanted to ask you, at this point, I've heard that the NBA, 40% of the shots attempted are 3-point shots. And if you were to rewind to 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that's asinine. Like, the fact that we've hit this point where damn near half of the shots that are going up are behind the 3-point line. It's crazy. Like, that, you have to be able to shoot the 3-point ball now if you want to be a competitive team in the NBA. At this rate of 3-point shooting, because of Steph Curry, where do you guys think that the game will be the next decade? Like, once we start to hit coming like 2030s-ish, or, coming up on that, do you think that this is like a 3-point bubble and this whole thing is just like, it's going to pop eventually, and it's like, all right, we've outdone this. We need to go kind of back to the caveman days of the NBA and back to the big man in the paint?
Oh.
Or do you think like the 4-point shot is going to come around that's been rumored for the past few years? Like, where do you see this going?
I will let go first.
I will say that the trend will change. I do not think that 3-point will stay forever because at some point, unfortunately, with the new generation, their attention span is going to change, and it might go back in the day where the mid range and big man trend may come back, where we may have a brief period of it may be popular to watch people play that close, play the paint, play the mid range jumper, and it's all about the handle. It's all about the handles and just being able to see these big men go up, do the ollies, do the handles, and just create these close shots inward. Because at some point, some people are going to start getting bored of watching people pull up a half court and take these shots. So at some point, it's going to change.
Malin?
All right. I think it's funny that Shaq thinks people are bored of people making half-court shots.
I mean, you see Steph do it for the past couple of seasons, just randomly pull up at a half court once every other game.
It never gets old. So here's what I'm saying. This is the way that Steph has changed the game. Okay. Does Steph Curry look like LeBron James?
Mm-hmm.
Does he look like Shaq in his heyday? TNT shit.
No.
No Magic early Lakers. Okay. What Steph Curry has proven in the NBA is that you don't have to be physical.
Right. Exactly.
To make. So you got a bunch of people that started out almost a decade ago, thinking, you know what? I'm going to go out and start practicing.
Yep.
You got a lot of people back in that craft right now. You're still going to have your generational talents. Okay, but the problem is now with AAU basketball, right, and the way that we specialize sports, where if you're going to start playing the sport early on, it's like the only sport to play. So what I think we're going to see now is we're going to see a bunch of prodigies that could be a Shaq, but they're going to end up as Zion Williams.
Yeah,
they're going to have way too many minutes on their body. And they're going to start breaking down by the time they get to the NBA because of all of the travel playing year-round, all that stuff. The people that can purely shoot the basketball, those are the people that are going to have the longevity in the NBA. Why did you guys think back in 2011, LeBron James started perfecting that mid-range jumper and tried to a little bit more threes? Now, he's still not great at threes because he started really practicing that craft when he was in the pros. But he changed his game. Why? Because he knew where the game was going. And so I think that the one's here to stay. I hope they don't come up with a 4-pointer, because then I think that'll kill the 3-point game, because I think you'll have so many people for 4-pointers, and it will be such a percentage miss. It'll be kind of ridiculous. Like, I hope that they can go for that. And it's going to change the end of the basketball. Like, how quickly could you catch up in the last 2 minutes of the basketball if you have a 4-point shot versus a 3-point shot? So I hope that doesn't happen. But the people like Steph Curry that build that craft and put a pointer, not just half as good as he does it. That's kind of where the NBA goes now. So because those physical specimens, man, they're breaking down. When they're in the league, they're not even lasting 5 years. I mean, look at Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant would be able to go in and slam down all the time, especially when he was in Texas, early on in Seattle and Oklahoma. What did he do? He stopped. Why? Shoot basketball. Still score points. Don't anybody.
Yeah, like you mentioned, like LeBron started the 2010s. Like he realized where the trend was going. And he also probably realized this is taking a pretty big toll on my body to drive the basket to drive the ball to the basket every single time, and that's the only way I can score points. Why don't I go out here and try and see if I can get this damn ball to go up and in without getting hit and taking all this impact and jumping.
And another caution tale. Derrick Rose
Right. Yep.
Like he was huge at driving to the lane, right? Tore his body up after an MVP season. What like people are looking at that. They're reading. They're thinking, listen, why put myself through that?
Right.
Why make that?
Why drive to the basket?
Shot that I had. So
you had that, and then shortly after that, when Paul George broke his leg in that Olympic scrimmage game, it's like a lot of these injuries came off of dudes just driving it at full speed ahead to the basket. But you don't see that when you're out on the perimeter just putting up a three. But G Money says, I don't see the 3-point shot going away. Remember, it was added in the 79-80 season. I believe you'll have more 3-point shooters than mid-range shooters. If anything, the NBA may have to move the 3-point shot or the 3-point line further out. I think that this bubble is not going to burst. I think this is actually where the game is going. I completely see what Shaq is saying on this TikTok generation. Span is short. They're going to want something else. But that something else, I think, is either the 4-point shot or the 3-point line being moved back.
I don't know. I think you can go ahead. I still find it very entertaining to see these players shoot in traffic, maybe not precisely in the middle of the paint, but just still see those mid-range shots, being able to still have the focus and the skill set to shoot, and somebody being in your face and still being able to shoot that way and versatile and everything. It's just my mindset. I still find both entertaining. 3-point is very much entertaining, seeing those 3-point shots, half-court shots chucked up. But something about those mid-range shots, and that you have very handful of players nowadays that consistently can still shoot up with people in traffic and people in their face and still throw it up and feel confident.
All right, so Jim, that's not the court. Now again, I had a lot of issues. We went to the first half real quick. But that point right now. In fact, I still have echo. I'm sorry, remember the echo. Hopefully, it's still me a little bit. Right now, the All-Star. What is the flashier thing right now? The dunk contest or the 3-point?
Oh, it's the 3-point contest without a doubt.
Yeah, why is that? Because they've done everything when it comes to dunking.
Right.
The dunk and all that had its heyday in the 80s, in the 90s. I think Vince Carter was like the last of the greatest dunk champions of just what you can do, just physically imposing your will. The game is moving because they've done everything. They've seen it dunk. We're just now scratching what we can see now with Steph Curry, what you can do, throwing it up from beyond the arc.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Like the dunk is no longer. I think we've talked about this on a previous episode, probably last All-Star break. Like the dunk contest, nobody cares about it anymore, and it's sad because, like, I still love a great dunk. I think probably all three of us probably still love a great dunk, but it's just everything has been done before, and the stars don't want to participate in that contest, which I understand, but it's all about the 3-point contest, and that it never gets old, and I think that's why.
And the rules are dictating not driving to the
right.
I mean, look what happened to James Harden's career, right?
Right.
Not getting the same fouls. So why drive if you're not going to get the line? If you don't make it, so I think the rules are dictating more of a perimeter shooting, just like the NFL rules are dictating more of a pass league like it's done for the last 20 years.
Right. That's exactly where I was going with that. Like, it's no longer back in the day, like just with the NFL. Like, it's no longer Emmitt Smith and Walter Payton, Eric Dickerson, the running backs that were just going buck wild and setting all these records. Now the rules favor the quarterback more. The whole game favors the quarterback more. We all like the gaudy passing yard numbers where dudes are hitting 400 yards a game. That's what everybody, Patrick Mahomes is like the Steph Curry of the NFL. Like, that's every kid wants to be like that. Forget being like Najee Harris or Derrick Henry. Like, those are some huge human beings. They're never going to be that big. Like, I'm not, come on now. I don't want to get hit every single down. Let's get back here and throw this shovel pass or throw a deep ball down to my receiver. Just like in the NBA, it's like, less contact, jack up these threes, and perfect down to a science. Like, kids getting shooting coaches before they're 13 years old. Like, when they're 7, 8, getting world-renowned shooting coaches to help them perfect a jump shot so that they can be an excellent shooter when they're, you know, by the time they hit high school.
And like you just said, not everybody is going to be the size of Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Which is hurt, by the way.
Right,
Just saying.
exactly.
But anybody could be Steph Curry.
Yeah. Went to Davidson. Little baby-faced kid out of Davidson.
Yep.
Crazy. Anyway, we ran through the first half pretty quickly, so we've got plenty of time for the second half. So next news segment here. Staying in the NBA, the Lakers at one point recently, up until just like the past week or so, reportedly discussed trading Russell Westbrook for really anybody, but Ben Simmons was one of the biggest names to be linked to that trade. Obviously, the man's getting paid a massive contract, so you have to find another big name to exchange him for. But yeah, you know, Russ started to turn things around this past couple weeks or so, which is probably why did not come to fruition. But any thoughts on the Lakers quietly shopping around Russell Westbrook?
Well, okay, first of all, I mean, I know they're talking about Ben Simmons. I think that'd be smart trade. But the people running the NBA right now, they're not in smart trades. So that's probably not going to happen. No, I think the Lakers would probably sell him for a pack of menthols and some juicy fruit bubblegum right now. Because he is owed $91 million through the rest of this year and next year. $91 million. That's in dollars, people. Just saying.
That's why when Washington came to them with that trade, they were like, hold on, you want to take this contract? Please, we'll take whatever.
Yeah,
Thank you.
He is terrible on defense. Okay. He hasn't become the cutter in the lane that like the Lakers kind of envisioned him to be. Even though he was great in like the first like 12, 15 games at ball screening for LeBron, he quickly decided that he didn't want to embrace that. He wanted to be Westbrook is. And to me, like Westbrook is Cam Newton of the NBA. You're talented, but you fail to adapt. You fail to evolve and know your role. And know what you need to do to be able to be successful and change your game.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the game passes you by. I mean, he's only 33 years old. I think he's the same age as Steph Curry.
Yeah,
but he's been averaging triple. But all he's going to do from now until he retires is ruin his legacy.
Yeah.
Because he's going to continue to play the way he. And there's only so many superstars to play with before you're just styled. I mean, Kevin Durant went to the team that whooped their ass in the playoffs to get away from Westbrook. Okay, and then he went to where he did with Harden, his mate. And I was like, I can't win. So they ship him off, and I was like, no, I got to go too. Beal couldn't play with him. Now with LA, LeBron James has to be beside himself. I mean, LeBron James literally right now on the Lakers is the best ball handler.
Yep.
Sadly, he's the best three-point shooter. Like he's getting no help from someone like Russell their needs. So I don't know if they'll be. I actually would kind of like the big bitch move, and I actually think this would be good for the Lakers. Be to like trade him like for John Wall, or him back to the Rockets. That'd be good. Because I think John Wall would be better better suited for their ball. Let LeBron James become the point guard again. See what happens. But I want to see how Dwight Howard into this. Westbrook.
Shaq, this is your man.
I just want to say that if we were just sticking to the Ben Simmons and Westbrook trade, how does that benefit you to get Ben Simmons? It doesn't.
Wait. How does it not? Ben Simmons doesn't want to shoot.
Yes, because he
facilitates all day long to people like Dwight Howard, James and Anthony Davis.
You are trading another player. You're playing
like me with a Baskin Robbins. I got 31 flavors, baby. I'm about to eat all of it.
Me, as if I was running the Lakers, I would not want to trade Westbrook for Ben Simmons because you're trading a player that can't shoot for another player that can't shoot. And it's just like
that.
But here's the difference: is that the Lakers don't want Westbrook to shoot right now.
Nobody wants it. Russell Westbrook wants him to shoot. Nobody else wants him to shoot.
Passing the ball. Simmons will gladly pass the ball.
Right.
But you're still having a man who still has like at least 10 passes around that, assist a game, at least around 10 of rebounds a game too. So it's still getting a player who still gets.
Well,
those
hold
stats.
on. He has those gaudy numbers when LeBron is not on the floor. Like when he's playing with the second squad, that's when he's putting up those numbers.
But even just tonight, his numbers tonight was with LeBron on the floor is 22 points, 10 rebounds, like 9-10 assists. So it's still like
he's shooting like 35% from the floor when he's getting those points, and they're losing. Like he's not taking high percentage shots. Taking Russell Westbrook shots, and he's not.
He's still doing that. All of this is kind of null and void right now because these past couple of weeks he has turned it around. He's playing much better right now, which is maybe the only reason he's still living in LA.
I just don't want Ben Simmons. I feel like Ben Simmons is not.
Wait, aren't you a fan?
I'm sure he's fan.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's not there.
I don't care one way or another, but we're speaking hypothetically. Like,
it sounds like you do.
No, we're speaking hypothetically. Like, if this was our team, how beneficial would this trade be and everything? So hypothetically speaking, if I was like doing this trade, it's like I just don't want fucking Ben Simmons.
I mean, I don't want either one of them.
I don't. But if I was to choose between the two, I'll just maintain what I got right now and try and fix it.
If I was a Lakers fan, I would want someone that would get the ball to Anthony Davis and LeBron James every second.
But even AD has the ball, he's still fucking it up.
Listen, he ain't throwing up those stupid shots that Russell Westbrook does. And I know he's been good at like 3 games, but he's probably been good for 3 games. Somewhere to the front office, like we're about to trade your ass. And then he say, like he loves being like I've never seen someone smile so much losing because they're playing the team that they grew up rooting for. Like it's ridiculous. It's not working, man.
Not care. The turnovers, the missed shots, he does not care. And the Cam Newton comparison is an excellent one because it's like they are very simple. I think Cam might care a little more. Like, he can tell like it does hurt him when he turns over the ball a bit. Russell Westbrook does not give a damn if he airballs a shot, if he kicks it into the fucking parking lot. He does not give a damn.
The only difference between someone like Cam Newton and Russell Westbrook is it doesn't matter how many teams or Russell Westbrook plays for, he's still getting $91 million for the next 2 years. Cam has his ass cut.
That's probably why he cares and one does not.
Patriots.
Westbrook
and then went back to like. That's the reason why Westbrook don't care, man. He's like, listen, I'll miss every goddamn shot. I'm in the gold. I rooted for this team. This is great. I've never won a championship. I don't know what it feels like.
Yes, Westbrook is being paid off of potential. Cam Newton is just, here's a penny for every year that you work until you get better. But Westbrook, people are willing to pay him because they know he was great at some point in time. So we continue to pay him.
NFL
He was.
MVP.
He had one MVP season.
He was 15-1.
Yes, he was.
The timing
Okay,
on
but
there.
hold on. Westbrook won the MVP with Oklahoma after Durant left. Like, I mean, come on, man.
And he's missed a triple double himself, so that's why people still praise him for some god awful fucking reason. I mean, I like him. Do I admit he's god awful a lot? But yes.
Shaq, I know that the size of your head has enough room for two mouths. You're kind of spitting out both
I
of
mean,
them.
people.
But
I can bring this up, and y'all gonna hate this. People still praise Dwight Howard.
God damn it.
I knew it. I knew it was coming.
I had to bring it up. I was like, I feel like the show's gone on too long without you bring it up. People have praised Dwight Howard, and this man's coming off the bench. Please let me.
Yeah, that's why Russell. I was saying a few weeks ago, let Russ come off the bench. A lot of these problems would be solved.
He won't come off the bench. That's the thing, is that at least Dwight Howard will accept who he is now in the league.
Yes.
And be the role player that he is. Russell Westbrook is I'm still Russell Westbrook.
Yep. Cam, like you said, Cam, both of them, they just won't come off the bench. Even though Cam says he will, but that does not sound copacetic. But
Rondo is point guard for the Lakers.
Yes,
right now.
If he can stay, as long as Rondo's healthy, to me, there's no excuse for him not to be out there with the first unit, managing things and getting everything.
Isn't that the case for the whole damn squad, though? If they can stay healthy.
Yep, there's the caveat.
Dwight Howard, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Rondo.
Has Trevor Ariza played a single dribble?
The AARP squad.
Anyway, the moral of the story is Russell Westbrook's contract is on toilet paper until February, so we'll see what happens.
$91 million toilet paper.
He had about 72 ply up in this bitch trying to look.
That's why you don't care, man.
I wouldn't care either. If I had a job guaranteeing me this amount of money for 4 years,
my God,
I do not give a damn what y'all got to say about me. I just got to show up. I can go out there and airball every single mid-range shot. It's like, what am I caring for?
At the end of the day, he's going in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You don't average a triple-double like he did for as long as he did and not go to the Hall of Fame. It doesn't matter how bad you are being a teammate or the craziness shot. You're still going to the Hall of Fame. He's going to be richer than I ever will be in my entire life. And in the Hall of Fame. Probably never win a ring because it'll never change. But that's still a pretty good life.
G-Money says the reason the Lakers would trade for Simmons is the defense, which is severely lacking with Westbrook. I watched a play today, but right before this stream started, or they were playing the Mavs, and Westbrook decided to pick up the backup Dallas point guard at the half-point line to double team him while Carmelo Anthony was currently guarding him, double team him and leave his man wide open for some strange reason. And obviously they just kicked it out to him and he knocks down a 3-point. I'm like, what are you doing? Why? But it's not the fourth quarter with 10 seconds left.
And again, I know that the talent of Russ is there. He has more talent in his pinky than I'll have in my entire life.
More in this pink, I was saying this pinky than the whole cast right now. But
listen, my pinky fucking still broke. Still can't be. But he's uber talented. He's going terrible now, especially in LA. Like, get him to another team where he can start averaging a triple-double again and miss the playoffs or go out the first round. Collect your money and let the Lakers get someone that might be able to help them. Because no one's winning a championship when Russell Westbrook is your starting point guard in the game. It's not happening.
Before we move on this, I tried to tell y'all this, but Shaq really thought otherwise in whatever July when they first traded for him. I'm trying to tell y'all this is not the wave, but hey,
I try to be the devil. I try to be the devil's advocate until proven otherwise.
No,
I'll be your biggest fan until you tell me otherwise.
I think that Shaq is like a closet Lakers fan, just as much as the Heat fan because he's a bandwagon ass. He literally was like, out my Lakers, my opinion.
I think Shaq is a Russell Westbrook fan.
I'm a Westbrook fan more than anything else.
Westbrook
For some reason, I'm a bandwagon fan. Here I am cheering for the Steelers as the
Yeah, I was going to say, like, why do you make such bad life choices? But now I'm looking at your shirt, so it makes a little bit sense. But
what's wrong with this shirt?
Like Westbrook.
See, this is why the show is 4 hours long every week. because even when we're on a good time crunch,
we gotta take shots at each other. I talked 20 minutes about a topic that should take literally 4.5 minutes to talk about.
Let's get at this. We're quickly nearing the 2-hour mark anyway. We're still in the news. Jesus. Last but not least, so recently pretty much the entire NFL, even in the NBA, a bunch of teams are just crawling with COVID-19 recently. The Browns, Jarvis Landry, their head coach, Stefanski, Baker Mayfield now has it. I think the Browns are the only AFC team to have a bunch of players infected with COVID. The rest is, for whatever reason, a bunch of NFC teams, like the Vikings, the Lions, the Rams. A bunch of people on the Rams have come down with COVID, unfortunately. It seems to be a big, sudden issue now where a ton of NFL teams, the one sport where it's once a week in every game, especially in December, really counts. And now you've got a lot of star players missing games because of this. What do you guys think as we round out this regular season, the NFL's biggest season yet, and here we have a ton of stars missing games because of COVID in December?
Well, you have relaxed rules for vaccinated players in the NFL and the NBA. So, they vaccinated players aren't getting tested regularly. They're not having to wear the mask inside the facility. It's pretty much been proven for about damn near 9 months. The vaccine doesn't keep you from getting COVID. Happens is if you get it, it means you're a hell of a lot less likely. Okay, so that's why you want to get back. Not to necessarily keep you from getting it, but it's not going to be as bad. COVID, if anyone thinks we're going to get rid of COVID, you're going to hear COVID flu for the rest of your life. Okay, there's always going to be. There's a new variant. God help us all. Okay? But does it surprise me that we're 2 to 3 weeks out from Thanksgiving and all of a sudden all these people are starting down with COVID? Absolutely not. But right now in the NFL, you got 93 people testing positive for COVID. You got 11 starters around still going to play on Saturday because the NFL has already come out and said you're not forfeiting games. And if you're an NFL team, the other, okay. So let's just go ahead and talk about the playoffs, right? Because the Rams have 60 players that are in COVID protocol. OL positive on Monday. Probably shouldn't have been on the field during the game, or test positive on Monday night. They did get Tyler Higbee back. They called him up, so he probably had a false positive. But they got 16 players, right? They've closed their practice facility. They're not probably this entire week. Okay? You want to have the NFL and the NFLPA do not want to forfeit games. It's because it's written in the agreement with the NFL and NFLPA. If they have to forfeit a game, both teams don't get a paycheck. So if you're the Rams and the Seahawks, what do you think the Seahawks are thinking right now? Russell Wilson's making $35 million. You think he wants to miss a game because the Rams can't keep their shit in order when it comes to COVID? if the NBA wants to do the same thing. The NBA right now, over the last 2 weeks, have 60 total cases in the last 4 days. You got the Bills, the Hornets, and the Nets, and you even got Giannis right now. Protocol, I think he did the day. So it's going to happen. Okay, but they're going to have to weather the storm. But I think the NFL is they need to go back to the protocol they had last year.
Right.
Everyone's wearing them. Everyone's getting tested because the vaccine doesn't keep getting, just makes it where it's not working. Okay, that's how the NFL does going into the playoffs. But does it surprise you if we're having more COVID? No. I mean, hell, even the CDC came out and said that the majority of people in the United States right now, they have cold symptoms, probably have COVID, but not getting tested. Why? Because it's a hell of a lot like the cold, but it does react differently to different people. Some people are going to get a hell of a lot worse. But if you're vaccinated, it makes it a lot easier. That's why you have so many people around that are angry right now. Baker Mayfield is angry. Stefanski is angry. Why? Because they're vaccinated. They tested positive for it, but they don't feel any symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going anywhere. But you gotta get these things like what they were doing here to kind of help keep the of the year, because the Browns and Rams are in the playoff hunt right now. As much as I love the fact that the Rams are people right now on miss my Seahawks, God bless them, I love it. I hope another team can get it. Asymptomatic, of course. Asymptomatic, of course. I don't want anybody to die. But no, it's going to affect the playoff season a little bit going forward.
Yeah, this is about to get very interesting because we're right in the midst of the holidays, so obviously a lot of people are seeing their families, traveling around. It's colder now. I mean, your chances of getting sick for any sickness are a lot higher right now than any other time of the year. But at the same time, like, the NFL is about to head into the playoffs, and there's a high chance that your franchise quarterback could be out because of this, or whoever your star player could be missing time because of COVID protocol. And I think the NFL is going to really be holding their breath come next month as the playoffs start. And if this continues to happen, like, man, they're going to be irate if their star players are missing games, and now the playoffs are like really wacky if, say, Tom Brady can't play for Tampa, or Aaron Rodgers can't play for Green Bay, or Dak Prescott isn't available, and now it's like, what's the legitimacy of these teams moving forward?
Let's not act like the rules behind the scenes are not going to change when the playoff starts, because I don't think it's a coincidence that Tom Brady tested positive for COVID like 2 days after the Super Bowl. So let's not act like the rules change. But let's Kevin Stefanski. He missed the playoff game. When the actually in the playoffs started, but it happened right there with Kane. I mean, they have to adapt. They're going to have to get ready that we're not out of COVID. It's something might happen, and they're just going to have to.
Jack?
I would just like to say, the second what Malin says, it's the misconception of how COVID and the vaccine really works is what really hinders the process. We see it all the time, especially where I work, where it's like, we're going to test it for COVID. It's like, oh, I got the vaccine. I don't need to be tested for COVID. It's like, it's not how this shit works. You can still get COVID with the vaccine. It's just the fact of you will not get as sick
right
with the vaccine. So it's kind of like, that does not mean you need to not take the same safety protocol, still wear your mask and all that. You might still have to do that, still to protect yourself and other people, but it's for the sake of you won't get as sick. So they probably have these goons walking around maskless and everything, and then getting COVID and then complaining about it. It's like, I feel fine, but it's like, that's not the point. You still carry your COVID and all that.
That's because the NFL kind of granted at the beginning of this year when they were like, if you're vaccinated, you don't have to follow any of these rules. If you are not, these are all the rules you have to follow. And so I feel like they created this huge divide where it was like, as long as you get this shot, you don't have to worry about anything. And that's not the case.
What we also need to do as a society, though, and this is just sports, is just come to an understanding that like COVID's not going.
Right, exactly.
And people have this idea that the vaccine is this magic pill. Like, they think about the fact that the flu shot every single year is a flu shot because they're anticipating different strains. And even then, it's only 76 effective on a yearly basis. So it doesn't. It just means that you won't have the symptoms bad if you do end up getting it. So if you can get everybody, and I do think that the NFL fight some of their rules hard. You know, if you're what's really the harm of people? I think that in the next 2 or 3, we're going to get to a point where we're going to think of the COVID a lot more like a flu and other things we're going to live with and it won't. But it starts with stopping this stupid ass propaganda about the vaccine and COVID being a hoax and all that. Because there are age groups that does affect them. It could cause people to lose their lives. So people just have to be a hell of smarter about it. Is what needs. You guys watching something right? What's happening?
No, nothing. I'm listening to what you're saying, but the whole COVID is a hoax. I hear people say that, and nothing frustrates me more than people trying to bring up this big conspiracy theory about COVID, bringing up shit that they heard from a friend about COVID who graduated high school to 1.9, 2.0. It's like, stop listening to...
Did y'all go to school?
Yes. Please stop trying to spread all these fake rumors about COVID because you can have your opinion, but just stop talking shit to other people. That don't make sense.
I just think that we're going out to where we know it's here.
Yeah.
We do our best to guard against it. You get the vaccine, you get your, and you live your life. So I do think that some of these regulations kind of adapt a little bit because a lot of these regulations are based on hope not going to be around any. That's not what the tea leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Every 3 months, we're getting out of it. We're like, oh shit, here we are in Africa. Oh, look at this strain. This is proved that apparently is more easy to contract than others. And they've already shown, came out and said that some of the people who tested positive in the NFL have this strain of COVID. So it's not about trying to curb the effects it has.
I know this is not related to sports at all, but it is really funny to me how everybody now on the internet is they're a doctor. What do you mean? You've gone to school for your entire life, and you're one of the leading doctors in the nation trying to research this. No, come on now. Come on.
Well, okay. Well, that's been going on forever, though. I think a doctor's worst nightmare is when a patient is like, listen, man, I looked it up on Google on WebMD, and what I have, stage 5 cancer. People are always like, with the invention of the internet, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong or factual or you're an idiot. You can put your opinion out there. And the problem is that some other people that are idiots are going to believe idiotic things you say.
Yes,
that's it. I mean, listen, we're doing a podcast right now, and you guys are below 500 on your iodine 5, but people are still listening to us on sports predictions. So,
but my thing is,
I mean, it is what it is.
Stop throwing your opinions on people. I heard this lady in Walmart told this lady she doesn't have to wear a fucking mask in Walmart. It's like, shut the fuck up and let this lady wear a mask if she wants to in Walmart. Why is it your business that this lady decides she wants to fucking wear a mask and walk around Walmart? Why do you feel the need to impose your opinions
There's
on
two
other
different
people?
statements of saying, I don't wear a mask because I don't feel like I need to. Or saying, oh, you don't need to wear that mask. Like, You don't have to say that.
No, what does it affect your day-to-day life with you in Walmart? That
Right.
decides that she wants to wear a mask in Walmart. It doesn't matter. Just mind your business. You don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Move on with your day. But now you're trying to force your opinions on somebody else.
As if it's fact.
Yeah, it's like you have some sort of stronghold of science.
Right.
Last science you took was like what?
12th grade.
A&P in 11th and 12th grade. And now you try to tell this lady what the hell she's supposed to be doing with her day-to-day life. Shut up and just pick out your tomatoes.
The same people that are saying COVID is a hoax are the same people that were like studying lava rock that got teeth. Okay. So let's just calm down with that. The simple fact is that you do you, I'll do me. But at the end of the day, when it comes to a sport, okay, or like the NFL, NBA, stuff like that, you want to make millions of dollars, you got to protect millions of dollars investment, which means you have to make yourself readily available as possible. And so these sports have to put some stuff in place that makes sense. Like Mayfield, he's vaccinated, he's symptomatic, he has no symptoms. I know that you can still train, like all this stuff, vaccinated, not vaccinated. If you don't have any symptoms, you got to start getting to a point to where let people play. Understand play. But get back so that you don't have the and the stuff is bad, good. There's a reason why telling us to get vaccinated is we don't want us over hospital beds for something that could be.
Yeah. We will move right on out of the 1 hour long news for this week.
That's some good news, though.
You guys got all your news now, so turn off.
We attacking ESPN for the past 60 weeks. CNN, here we come. We trying to attack everybody's facts and opinions on what is going on.
You don't need any Bleacher Report, nothing. No CNN, nothing. So there you go. As we go right into our last topic of the week, that is the Ride or Die in 5. This is where we, in 5 minutes, we break down some betting lines for this weekend or the upcoming week.
Well, is a Ride or Die in 5? Get it done in 5 minutes. We have 5 topics.
5 increments of 5.
It was originally supposed to be 5 topics in 5 games in 5 minutes. But
5 minutes,
well,
y'all minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Hey, it ain't been Ride or Die. I joined the show. I know that.
It hasn't been Ride or Die in 5 since like week 40.
Well, Shaq and I are tied at 26 and 29. For those who are wondering, these are our overall records from this segment of the show. So Shaq and I are 26 and 29. We're tied. We are slowly, game by game, creeping back up to that 500 mark. Just give us a couple more games, folks. We'll be right there.
And lose it.
Yeah, and then Malin is 11 and 3. Clearly, Malin has the better picks in this segment as of right now. But
we're consistent.
We'll see.
Basically. The only time I lose is when.
Well, that's a whole nother conundrum right there. First game we're going to go to tomorrow night, the Thursday night game. The Chiefs at the Chargers, divisional game here. Chiefs are 3-point underdogs on the road. They are minus 160 money line. Chargers plus 140 money line. Over under is 52 points. What do you guys like on this one, Shaq? I'm going to go to you first.
I say take the money line for it. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually going to Chiefs to win all outright for this game right now. I say
money line Chiefs. Okay.
Yeah, I say they have a lot to prove right now. Trying to get back in there into them, prove people. Even though they are doing really well right now, I feel like they're just trying to get people to realize that we did fuck up in the first part of the season. But guess what? Still the Chiefs at the end of the day.
So you don't think they'll win by the 3? You think it'll be
No, hold on. Don't fail him. This is why Shaq is 49. Fuck the points. It just starts saying shit like outright. Like the points, Shaq.
Malin, go ahead. You're right. You're right. Go ahead.
So Shaq said outright Chiefs. Doesn't matter if they win by one, loses in America. So goddamn it. Okay, so they're playing in LA. Chiefs are on the road. Okay. I was looking into some of the money line covering spread, right? Both teams have failed to cover the spread three out of the last 4 weeks. So you kind of got to throw that out. First of all, that's some bullshit. So America, don't actually bet on this game. Okay? But the only reason why I'm taking Chiefs and the points, okay, is that through the 6-game winning streak that the Chiefs have had, their defense is giving up an average 10 points a game. I know that Chris will be out with COVID. It's one of those 90 people. But I do kind of feel like maybe we'll get right game last week. So maybe they're not have to run the defense much. But I think that I think it's going to end up in a shootout. It's weird because the Herbert is out playing Kansas City, or Mahomes is weird. But it's been a lot better. Well, not better. But I'll go ahead and take in the points because of the play.
I'm agreeing with you, Malin. I've mentioned this before on the show, but our next door neighbor is a huge Chiefs fan, and last Sunday these walls were rumbling, baby. The Chiefs are back. I think they've been back for the past couple of weeks. They are getting to the swing of things. I think they will win this game pretty handily at SoFi Stadium by probably about a touchdown, at least a touchdown. So, yeah, so take the Chiefs and the points on this one to cover. Shaq saying take the money line. We're going to move right into the next game. We're going to keep it moving right through here. My Patriots, 2.5-point underdogs against the Colts on the road. The Patriots money line is plus 120. The Colts money line is minus 140. Over under is 45.5 points. This is a Saturday night game. We're in that time of the year where there's a few Saturday games. I'm just going to make this quick. My team, I'll take my 2.5 points gladly. I think this will be a close game, just similar to last week. By hook or by crook, I think we end up winning this game. So I say take the 2.5 points for the Patriots. Shaq.
They're gonna hate me, but I also pick the Patriots win this game.
Yeah.
With the 2.5 points.
Oh, take the points now.
No, it's gonna be a very close game. I agree with Jalen. Y'all seem to play this game's really close. So
I love playing them tight.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. Go ahead, man. Or Shaq says anything else.
All right, so one, I always like to think that Vegas knows something, right? When they do these money lines, because they put out these money for a reason, and these point spreads for a reason. I can't for the life of me understand why New England is doing 1 underdog. Now, there's a reason that make it easier and better. And only 51% of the money is going to Patriots right now, even at 2.5 point spread. So at 2.5 points, your home team always gets to feel
right.
Okay. So the fact that it's 2.5 means it's basically all right. Now the Patriots are riding game winning streak, right, Dylan?
Say that again.
The Patriots are 7-game winning streak.
Right.
How would you like to know that the Patriots covered the point spread on the last 7 games?
They have, yeah.
I am going to take the Patriots in 2.5 because I think Vegas is being very generous. I think the biggest thing that the Colts have is Taylor. And I think that anyone that can scheme week to week and change their entire philosophy, it's Bill Belichick. And I think he's going to do enough to neutralize the game, the run game, Carson Wentz to throw the ball.
Right.
And when Carson Wentz throws the ball a lot, bad things happen. Not pretty.
Yeah.
So I'm taking Patriot and the points. I like how Shaq is learning. Point spread works. We're going to go with that.
I agree 1,000%. I think that, especially from the team that forgot that they had like the best running back in the league 2 weeks ago, suddenly they're like, wait, hold on a second. You were doing really, really well against Tampa, and then we just stopped giving you the ball. Like, Bill Belichick is going to find out a way to at least slow him down. And if Carson Wentz has to go out and win this game, I like our chances a lot in that scenario. So,
well, let me ask you this. I know this is Ryan or Dine 5, but sorry, America, I'm on. So, in a pick'em game, right? Like right now, who would you take? Mac Jones?
Still, probably, I really don't like Carson Wentz, so Mac Jones.
What about you, Shaq?
Mac Jones.
Isn't that fucking...
It is very telling.
4 years ago, Wentz was about to win MVP until he got his leg against him.
Right.
And here he is, they're like, we'll take this rook that everyone says doesn't have a high upside and good offering. And only for 3 passes left. But all of America will Carson Wentz.
Yeah, if Wentz has to throw the ball more than 18, 19, 20 times, I don't like where that ball is going. At that point, I'm extremely nervous.
I'll give him 20 to 5 passes, but if Carson Wentz has to throw 30 times, that's because they're losing.
Right.
So, yeah. That's just weird. Mac Jones, everybody's favorite.
Moving on to the last football game here for this weekend. We, of course, have on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Set your alarm. If you're waking up at 1 o'clock, your name is Ryan Brown. The Titans play the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a classic match. This matchup has always been riveting these past couple of years here. But the Titans and Steelers in Heinz Field, basically a pick'em game, but the Titans are 1.5 point favorites on the road, minus 125 money line. Steelers are plus 105 money line. Over on is 41.5 points. I'll make this quick. Mainly, like you said, the road team usually, like by default, is the 3-point underdog. The fact that the Titans are 1.5 point favorites on the road without their best player is very, very strange, to say the least. I think Vegas is just absolutely confused with the Pittsburgh Steelers at this point, has no idea what to do with them. And the Titans as well. I'm going to say fuck the point spread. Take the over on this one, folks. Take the easy out. 41.5 points. I think these teams will combine for probably about 50 points. So I'm saying take the over on that one. Shaq.
Look, I say the Steelers are going to lose this game. I'm going to go ahead and...
Shocker.
Yeah. The Steelers are going to lose this game coming off of this last previous game. There's no benefit in them winning this game at this point in this season. I'm going to go ahead and take the money. Like, I don't know what y'all expect from me. I'm a Steelers fan, but that doesn't mean I'm blind to what we've been doing all season long. Because we beat them. It's the second time we're paying them this season, right?
This season?
This season? I thought we paid them right this season.
They're not in your...
Okay.
You guys played them last year, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know, but we're gonna lose against them this season again.
Shaq says trauma with these losses. They all start to blend together.
Yes, I just know it just work.
Before Shaq just says, they're playing again. They're both division winners this year. But they're playing again. I do have a question. If you picked the over/under, if you're right on the over, you win.
Right? Yeah.
That is such.
Hey, you guys can pick whatever you want. I'm picking whatever I want.
Well,
so.
I'm just saying that I'm not even picking a team and just hoping people score points, get you. That's how Jalen 500. All right, so funny fact about Pittsburgh Steelers.
They're
Inside the red zone, they have thrown the ball more, 64% more inside the red zone. They have thrown it than any other team in the NFL. That is stupid. Because, okay, they need Harris to run the ball. They need to control the clock and then run the ball with Harris in this game because Titans, sorry, they don't have a running game. Tannehill is your best bet. And both his receivers are injured all the goddamn time. Okay. So I am taking Pittsburgh one more time because if it's inside 1 points, it's a picking game. I'm about to do the bitch move like pick the over/under. I actually don't even know if there's a score 41.5. They might, but no. Ben Roethlisberger needs to throw the ball 30 times and give the ball to Harris. They need to understand that their playoff lives are at stake. They're at home, and if they run the ball to Harris, if they don't, and they old ass Big Ben out there, that cyborg arm, and he throws 40 to 45 times, they're going to lose. I am betting that Mike Tomlin is smart enough to run the ball. The Titans team that is ranked 19th against the run and not make Big Ben throw the ball all damn day. Pittsburgh's going to win.
You got to remember, they won't do any of this till about the third or fourth quarter of football. So
no,
that is why I'm taking the over.
First of all, I swear to God, he talks more glowingly about the Lakers than he does.
I'm just telling you what I've observed for the past couple of weeks of football. The Steelers' offense only shows up in about a mid to late third quarter of football.
Well, then don't be down 29 at that point, and then I think you'll game.
You know, mainly you bring up all of what they should do, but unfortunately,
what they will do,
I don't see that happening. And like Shaq said, they are a third quarter type of team, and I think they will have to play from behind and score a lot of points, which is why I would say take the easy bet on the over.
I just don't think that Tennessee has the firepower to put up 20 points on them before Pittsburgh starts rolling. That's why I think we running the ball here is because last they're down 29-0 to run the ball. I think it's going to be a lot closer game, which will play into the Steelers. That's why I'm going.
Our defense will be like, how many points do y'all need to encourage you? 24? All right, baby, we'll let them go down 24 in the first half.
Mike Tomlin's going to be up there about kickoff return.
Mike Tomlin be putting on the helmet during halftime.
Tennessee and Pittsburgh, such weird teams this year. Like I don't trust any one of them at this point in the year with a pair of safety scissors. Like I'm good on both of these teams, but we'll see what happens. It's both of these teams have some heavy implications of winning this damn game because they both could use a win to get a playoff spot right now. But anyway, we'll see what happens. So Malin, you were saying take these Steelers in the points?
And the points, yes. They
Shaq,
win by 1.
Shaq, you were saying Titans are winning this game by hook or crook.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, that means that I'm going to win.
In America, I was saying take the over.
And that thing that means that because I'm the only one.
The fact that Malin was the sole pick on these Steelers this game says a lot.
Yeah, like if you could have a bad movie scenario where an earthquake happened in mid-game and it all got swallowed up, I'm fine. As long as they win.
It's understandable. Moving into the NBA section of the Ride or Die 5. Only 2 games here until like February-ish. We will just keep picking the games outright, like disregard the point spread and whatnot for the NBA. So Suns at Nets, that's tomorrow night at 7:30. This should be a great game. Mainly, I'm going to go to you first on this one. Who do you like to win this one?
I'm going to go with the betting line. 64% America is betting in it. And I can't believe that I'm saying, but like Kevin Durant is under the radar as far as playing. I mean, I know that Steph Curry last night, but Durant had a triple-double, 29, 34 points, 13 assists. The last time I bet they actually won. Steph Curry that night, punk. But I'm still going to go on this game.
Shaq?
Suns. I'm going to go with Suns on this game. So, something about it hits me for them. Trying to pull through this game. It's a very close game. I feel like all the way to the end and just pull through.
Okay. I'm in a very tough spot right now. I'm going to pick opposite of Shaq and take the Brooklyn Nets.
For this show, it's become a premise of as long as you don't pick with Shaq, you will have a very safe bet.
Listen, Shaq, I'm a man of my conviction. Even fuck me up all the times.
You can't say Juju and Karma don't exist when you watch this show.
KD will score 68 points, and the Nets will outlast the Suns at home. Last but not least, the Lakers. The circus goes to Chicago at 8 o'clock this Sunday night. I'll pick first on this one. Lakers are so strange. I'm going to say the Lakers win this game. Some way, somehow, they'll end up winning this game. I don't know. But Russell Westbrook will have probably 18 points and 8 assists, 10 boards, something weird. Like he'll do his thing, of course. AD will do his usual numbers, and it won't seem like it the entire game that he had any impact, but he'll have his numbers. But I think the Lakers win a close game in Chicago just to keep the critics off their back. The circus on wheels will come out with the dub in this one. Malin?
I love the fact that you take Lakers to win, you get shit out of them about your entire break.
I absolutely did.
That kind of sounds like for any game of the year. Take Steelers on except no, because AD is playing, because Westbrook is playing better, because LeBron James is out of his mind right now. He's scored 30 or more points in 3 games. Chicago's on 2 games. They've the last one being Miami. A little bit. With some COVID issues right now. I don't know going to be in, going to be out. Don't know if they even a lot of people still hurt. I'm going to win that one Sunday.
And Shaq.
I don't know.
Yeah,
why
why last?
I don't know why y'all picked me last for this bonus.
I gotta keep it fair. Keep the rotation.
Y'all gonna hate me because I'm gonna choose the Lakers to win this game. The clowns win every once in a while. Okay. The circus people of circuses, right?
I'm not even gonna. Russ, please, Westbrook, please don't turn over the ball 28 times this game, please.
Russ is gonna come through for some odd reason. Everyone's gonna put their regular numbers and just scrape through just enough to beat this team, and I'm gonna vote Lakers.
Well,
when I'm 4-1 after this week, America.
So we all agreed on the Lakers on that one. Malin and I agreed on the Nets. Shaq took the Suns. I'm taking the over on the Pittsburgh-Tennessee game. Malin is taking Pittsburgh in the points. Shaq is taking Tennessee to just win the game. Fuck it. We all took New England in the points on that one, correct?
Yes.
And then we all took Kansas City we all took Kansas City in the point.
Shaq
took the money line, yeah.
He didn't even take points.
So there's that.
And the betting line.
All right. I'm glad that I got that noted. Anyway, that will do it for episode 63. Even though we cruised through the first half of the show, here we are at our normal time.
Because our problem was we started talking about the Lakers the second half of the show.
Stop talking about the Lakers on this show.
I was distracted.
I
think people.
Whatever segment the Lakers fall into, it just immediately becomes like a 45-minute discussion in and of itself.
Yeah, I applaud you for only talking about Dwight Howard.
Yeah, we were quickly on and off Dwight Howard, so there's progress there.
About the Lakers twice, and like he composed himself.
I try to keep it to a
brought him up.
We've also learned the voting process. Just let me go ahead and vote first for every single one.
And just vote opposite of whatever you
say. Because I've learned so far, y'all will be like, fuck whatever common knowledge of sports I have, whatever Shaq votes, I'm gonna go ahead and vote opposite.
I mean, you say knowledge. I don't just knowledge. I mean,
it will be Green Bay versus Jacksonville in the Super Bowl, and y'all, I will vote Green Bay to win, and y'all would just be like, you know what, Jacksonville seems very reasonable to me for some odd reason.
Well, that's
yes.
All right, folks. We want to thank you all for watching or listening to another historic episode in the books. Next week is our last episode before Christmas, and I believe we'll have one more before the New Year. So you should have 2 more episodes in 2021. Which the last episode of the year, we're gonna make it a half retrospective episode onto what we thought of this year anyway. So anyway, but next week we're also gonna do something pretty cool for Christmas, if you happen to celebrate that. If, you know, maybe Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it may be, or none of them, you know, whatever.
But we look at all people equal, whatever holiday you choose to idolize, and I don't know,
right? Whatever it may be, Russell Westbrook Day, you know, give me whatever it is.
First of all, if you celebrate Russell Westbrook Day, you probably drink bleach on it. Not saying that's a bad life choice, because we respect you, but
plot twist: Russell Westbrook Day is every day.
Yes, you just worry about what you got going on Westbrook Day.
Anyway, folks, anything you guys want to say before we get out of here?
I love this show.
I apologize during the show. We'll figure it out next week.
I apologize for nothing.
I mean, people already have to hear my views. There's no reason why they have to hear it twice. That's true.
I started the show by calling it the best show on earth and always ended by saying this show was god awful.
And the god awful ones are the best. That's what. Hey, Stephen A. Smith still has a job, right?
That is true.
I apologize for nothing. You take what we give y'all, folks, and this is a wonderful show. Love y'all.
You apologize for nothing.
Look, if you continue to watch this show for 62 episodes, you for damn sure know what we'll be giving you week in and week out.
What's that?
Are we on episode?
Yeah, 63.
Look, so this episode ain't complete, so I ain't counted 63 episodes.
He only has people's lives. That's
the reason we drink every show.
We will see you all next week. Shout out Evan Sonor, who's doing God knows what. Shout out Morgan Brown, who's playing.
Don't shout out Morgan Brown. I ain't shouting out Morgan Brown.
We ain't shouting out Fortnite. That man playing Fortnite, asking you guys to play Fortnite.
I was gonna shout him out for getting, clapped up by a 9-year-old right now in Fortnite. So
sounds like some government's now looking at this show because he said Morgan get clapped up by a 9-year-old.
Morgan went from dead game and Destiny to the dead game Fortnite. Like, what the? This is bad life choice after bad choices. What are we doing?
Not enough, apparently. Oh. Goodbye, y'all. I appreciate y'all watching this.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Peace.